Hi, my name is Chris Yang, and I am going to try, once again, to win mealtime at my house. What does that mean? It means facing off with my two foes / progeny, Ruby, who's 7, and Keith, who's 4, and getting them to eat something nutritious and delicious that we all will enjoy. Sometimes I win, sometimes I lose. I know if you're out there and you're a parent, or even if you're not, you're just a hungry person in the world, sometimes making something delicious is a battle of your own. Today we're gonna make something called pad thai. Except we're not. This is not pad thai. Not pad thai. This is how I make something that loosely resembles pad thai, and I started making this during the pandemic and found that my kids would eat it. Mostly I started making it because I found a source for these. These are what you would call semi-dried, semi-fresh rice noodles. They make dry ones. If you can't find this these come in the refrigerated section of mostly Asian markets, but I was finding mine at a wonderful market in Northern California called Berkeley Bowl, where they were making their own. I found these packs for $2 and I was so excited. I just kept making pad thai because I found these noodles, and having access to good noodles is half the battle here. I made them so much, in fact, that my kids stopped wanting to eat them. So I kind of shot myself in the foot. Anyway, they do make dried ones that you can use, but I really, really recommend the semi-dry, fresh ones if you can find them. I feel like the dry ones never fully get to the texture you want. They're never fully soft. They always have like a al dente-ness to them I find unpleasant. These can do with a little soaking in water before you use them. So I'm gonna cover them with hot water. I'm gonna cover these with hot water and let them soak for as long as it takes me to get everything else ready. So pad thai, invented in Thailand, specifically to be a national dish of Thailand, the national noodle dish of Thailand. I think that is true. I don't think this has like a storied, long history. It was a conscious effort to make a signature Thai stir-fried noodle, and it has become exactly that. It's delicious. I know it's not cool to order pad thai, but if you have kids, even if you don't, you can't get away with ordering Thai food without having pad thai. So here's the thing. Let me go through the ingredients before we get into this. At that grocery store that I was talking about in Berkeley Bowl, they have an incredible selection of produce, and they would always have garlic chives, which is something you usually only find in a Chinese or Southeast Asian, I guess you can find them in Japanese markets. Asian markets generally have garlic chives, not to be confused with garlic scapes, which are the shoots out of garlic. This is a different thing. It's also known as Chinese leeks or Chinese nira, very potent allium flavor, garlic flavor. They're kind of crunchy. I like to put the kind of crunchier ends into dumplings, and this part into things like pad thai. If you can't find this, it's okay. Your kids aren't gonna want to eat these anyway. So I wanted them. I like them in my pad thai, so I have them. And like I said, they're amazing in dumplings, very garlicky. If you can find them, use them. If you can't, don't. Or use, you can use scallions or something like that if you really want that onion flavor. The other thing is bean sprouts. My wife hates these, but I like them. I like to toss these in at the very end. And a little firm tofu always tends to be a part of pad thai. So we have our firm tofu. And then the question is, what kind of meat do you want? You can do this with shrimp. You can do it with chicken, pork. I think generally I would do this with chicken breast. I would slice chicken breast, coat it with a little cornstarch and salt, and stir fry that as part of this. However, we had this pork belly. And the reason why I'm gonna go with pork today is because I'm in love with pork fat. I'm in love with pork fat. And cooking the pork, rendering out some of that pork fat is gonna make the tofu taste all the better. It's gonna make the noodles taste all the better. It's gonna make the nira taste all the better, or the garlic chives. It's gonna make the bean sprouts taste all the better. So we're gonna go with pork belly today. This is kind of a medium thickness slice of pork belly. But this is gonna be the meat component for today. So just gonna cut this into kind of little lardons. You don't have to do this again. Use chicken breast if you want. Use chicken thigh. Don't use any meat at all. But I'm gonna render this out. A little salt. Maybe just a little squoze of oil to get it going. So, I'm not even gonna talk about a properly made pad thai. We should not even speak of such a thing here because we're not gonna be making anything close to it. But when it comes to pad thai, to me, the most important flavors are tamarind, which, you look up what tamarind is? Tamarind is a fruit, I think.
It is.
Comes in little pods, very annoying to sort of harvest. Get our stuff all set here. Tamarind, crazy looking fruit from Africa, grows in Asia, really tart, fragrant, has these huge seeds, really annoying to deal with, almost has the aroma of molasses, has the same consistency as molasses, but this is, to me, one of the main flavors of pad thai, that kind of tangy flavor that you really associate with pad thai. It's this, and it's fish sauce, and it's sugar. Those are the three flavors. So when I was living in pandemic world, we were making this all the time, I would literally just, once we'd used some of this, of a little jar of, and this is not, people, this is actually sacrilegious to a lot of people. This is anathema. Nobody likes to use this paste. You gotta, get your own tamarind and harvest your own paste and push the seeds through. It's like a huge pain in the butt. So I would just buy this stuff and I would use half of it, and then I would just add fish sauce to this, and I would add sugar to this, and it would just become my jar of pad thai sauce in the fridge. Please don't shoot me. I know that's not cool. I know that's not okay. But, we all did stuff during the pandemic that we're not proud of. Did we? No, just me. So, tamarind. And now I'm thinking I should have just done this in the jar because I basically used the whole jar. Sugar in the form of agave, and fish sauce. Essentially equal parts of each of these things. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of, you don't have to, I'm gonna add a little chicken bouillon for savoriness, as though the fish sauce didn't have enough of that. And maybe just a little tiny bit of water to loosen it all up. A little more sugar. Yeah. Now, what am I tasting for here? I don't know. See if it tastes okay. It's gonna be pretty potent. I think most of you aren't gonna wanna taste your sauce, but after all is said and done, that was basically equal parts of everything. And now you have your weird hacky pad thai sauce ready to go. Meanwhile, that was almost exactly as much time as this pork needed to render. We'll let it go for just a little longer. Whilst I cut some tofu. Do you guys like when, okay, so what's gonna happen here is I'm cutting this tofu to be the exact same shape as this pork, which is not actually a good move for kids because they'll never trust you again if they like tofu and they don't like pork and you end up giving them one or the other. All right. Let this render just a little longer. Get everything lined up because as with all stir fries, it's got to kind of all happen quickly. So you know what? I'm going to throw the tofu in there too. Let that cook in the pork fat for a minute. Pad Thai is universally loved, right?
Oh yeah.
You guys all like Pad Thai?
Love it.
Everybody likes Pad Thai. Well, too bad, because I'm not making it. All right, I'm gonna pull this out. Let it hang out while I get the rest of the stuff going. So this will just hang out for 1 second while I do this. Strain these noodles. Okay, and this is gonna splatter. And as these soften, they're gonna want to clump. Once they start to clump is where your sauce is gonna come into play here. So add your fillings back in, along with garlic chives. Add some sugar. I'm also going to give this just a little water. So I'm going to throw this egg in here, off to a corner. Season it with a little salt. Bust it up. And throw some bean sprouts here at the last second. And here is one more little move. So the chef Andy Ricker used to have a restaurant in New York where I think they just did Pad Thai. And the fact that that restaurant didn't survive will never make sense to me. It was just a Pad Thai restaurant. I don't understand anything anymore. The fact that that didn't work. But he would do one of the accoutrements available to garnish your Pad Thai, in addition to chili sauce and things like that, was just some kind of crunchy raw sugar. And so this is like a move that I still do, especially for my ding-dong little kids. It's just a little extra incentive. This is called incentive to eat. A little sugar. This is not an authentic pad thai. This is not real pad thai. This is just how I made it during the pandemic when I found a place that would sell rice noodles. Another thing that I neglected to do is sometimes, I mean, like not for my older daughter, but for my son, sometimes I'm really ashamed to admit this. He hasn't like gotten his slurping down, so noodles just hang out and then they fall back down to the plate. So this is total anathema to a lot of people, but I would have cut some of these noodles up before doing this whole cooking process so that it'd be easier for him. Whatever, don't judge me. But you know, if their kids aren't gonna eat the bean sprouts, they're not gonna eat the chives, leave them out. You can figure that part out. My kids like lime. I might let them do their own incentivizing. But that's super hacky pad thai. I made this goofy little container of sauce that you can make out of tamarind, fish sauce, water, sugar, a little chicken bouillon if you have it. Shake it up. Hide it in the back of your fridge and don't label it so that if you have Thai friends, they don't come over and say like, what is pad thai sauce? Like you don't want them to find that. Just say it came out of you and it's a sample you're saving for the doctor. Don't tell any of your friends what that is. But I'm extremely not mad at that. If you have peanuts, you can crush those up on there too. I didn't because, frankly, I forgot. I also like eating out of bowls this size. It's really delicious. I think your kids will be into this. I know my kids will be most of the time. I would give this one, if I had to give this a batting average, I feel like kids' recipes are a lot like baseball. If you hit 400, you're an all-timer. If 40% of the time you feed a recipe to a kid, just any kid, and they'll eat it and they, like it, 40% of the time, that's all time. That's Ted Williams level, will never be repeated. Nobody's gonna hit 400. If you bat 300, if 30% of kids are gonna be into something, you're a Hall of Famer. If you're like, hit 250, you're still in the majors. If you hit 175, hopefully you have other skills. But I would say this bats 310. That's pretty good, right?
Tony Gwynn?
That's some Tony Gwynn level stuff right there. Pad Thai bats 310 for sure. So adjust it how you see fit. Leave out the parts your kids won't eat. But I'm pretty happy with Pad Thai. Hopefully this gets you on base with your children. You just need to get to first base. Put the ball in play. That's all you need to do. I think this went into my shirt. I'm gonna try to find that noodle. I'll be here when you come back to find more strategies for winning mealtime. My name is Chris Ying, and I love you.